Good afternoon. Welcome back to my channel. This is Angeli with my Raw Vegan Journey. It's a beautiful sunny Saturday, and I just wanted to stop in and say hey and talk about a few things that raw vegans who are just starting out might want to know. Um, this this is not something that happens overnight. Trust me, it is a process. And if you're looking to do this overnight and make it work, it won't. You really need to plan. And being a raw vegan fruitarian takes a lot of planning. But once you figure out everything that you're going to need for, say, a week, then it becomes really easy. In the beginning, let me tell you what, I panicked. When I first started, I didn't buy enough. I didn't think ahead enough. And, usually if you have been brought up on the standard American diet, you can pretty much say, I got some stuff in the freezer, I got some potatoes, I got this, I got that, and I can throw that together, put it in the crock pot overnight, and have a big meal for a few days. When you're raw vegan, it doesn't work like that at all. You have to buy fruit. And when you go to the store, most of your fruit is not fully ripe. You have to give it time to ripen up. It takes time. So you need to buy, I'm going to say 3 times as much as you normally would, because it's going to take at least a few days for even bananas to ripen up. When you buy them at the store, it can take up to a week for them to start getting their brown spots. And that's when you want to eat them, when they have the brown spots. That is when they're at their most nutritious and they taste good and you can eat more. When they're not ripe, they have more starch, and starch is not easy to digest. So you will eat one banana and be like, ugh, I can't do it. And that's where a lot of people go wrong when they say that they can't eat a whole lot of fruit. It's because they're not eating ripe fruit. When you get fully ripe fruit and you allow yourself to get to that place where there's true hunger and you're not just eating because you need to eat or you think you need to eat or it's time to eat. I used to go by my clock. At 9 o'clock in the morning, I would wake up. Well, I would wake up sooner than that, but at 9 o'clock, I'd have my breakfast. At 12 o'clock, I'd have my lunch. 3 o'clock, I'd have snack. 6 o'clock, I'd have supper. And that was it. But I've noticed something since I've gone raw vegan. When I get up in the morning, I'm not really hungry yet. So I putter around the house and do some things. I might crochet. I might do dishes if I decided not to do them the night before. That does happen. Rarely. It does happen though. Or I may mess around with a cat or something. But I do that until I feel like I'm hungry. And when you're feeling true hunger, it's not painful. Okay? It's just this grrr, little rumbling in your stomach that says, hey, I'm empty. So if you're having stomach pain and you're feeling hungry with some stomach pain, you're probably having digestive issues because you're not eating the right things or eating them in the right combination. So the key is to take baby steps. If you're on a standard American diet, I would suggest starting your day off with a fruit smoothie, a fruit and green smoothie. The perfect way to do this is get you a bunch of ripe bananas, put about 3 or 4 bananas. If you don't eat that much, start out with 2 to 3 bananas. I'm gonna back that up because I'm at the point where I can eat 4 or 5 bananas in a smoothie now. It may take me almost an hour, but it's like a quart, little over a quart for me. However, if you're just starting out, start with a couple of bananas, some water or some unsweetened almond milk or coconut water. Those things, If you don't like almond milk, try coconut milk. If you don't like coconut milk, I would not suggest soy milk or oat milk because, well, we'll get into that later, but those things are not really healthy for our system. It's not part of our natural diet, so to speak. But anyways, I'm trying to get situated. Okay, there. This isn't the most comfortable chair that I'm sitting in, but yeah, what can I say? So, if you don't like any of the nut milks, stick with water. That's your best, 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 best plan of action. Water is hydrating and it's cleansing. But as long as it's purified water, don't use your tap water. Yeah, it probably has fluoride, it has chlorine, and who knows what else is in it. Get your water, try to get your water someplace that removes the fluoride. Now, I get my water from Lucky's Market, and I believe they take the fluoride out and everything. So it's really good water, and it's affordable. So back to going raw vegan, being a beginner at this. Start out with your smoothie in the morning. Now, I'll just give you the recipe. 2 bananas, okay? 1 cup of almond milk, water or coconut water. About 2 big handfuls to 4 big handfuls of mixed baby greens, okay? Eventually, you're going to get up to using half a pound of greens in a smoothie if you want to. Or you can spread out your greens throughout the day, but you want to get a lot of greens because this is where your vitamins and minerals are. And you want to get a lot of fruit because this is where your calories are and your potassium and magnesium and all those wonderful, wonderful vitamins and nutrients that the body craves for thriving. So you blend that up, and then you can add a tablespoon of chia seed, a tablespoon of flaxseed, either or. Don't put them both. And you can alternate. Like for 2 or 3 days, you can have chia seeds, and for 2 or 3 days, you can have flaxseed. But unless you have Vitamix, I would highly suggest pre-grinding them because if you eat them in the whole form, they're just going to pass through your system and there will be no nutrient uptake whatsoever. You know, just a little tidbit. When we lived out in nature, or our ancestors were in nature, pre-fire, if they would have ate something with a seed in it, they didn't have bathrooms. The earth was their bathroom. They probably would go squat somewhere or maybe dig up a hole, squat, cover it up. And guess what happened? After some time, that turned to compost, and that little seed that passed through their poo is now fermenting and getting broke down by bacteria, and it's getting prepared to grow. Yes, our bodily excrements can be composted. If we are not heavily medicated, it can be used to grow our food. Because, I mean, you are what you eat. If you're eating a bunch of junk and you're eating a bunch of medication, I would highly suggest to not compost your own waste material. But back in ancient times, that is what happened. That's how seeds proliferate. That's how they get spread out all over the place. Animals eat them. Humans ate them. And they would go take a dump, and the seeds would come out, and they would be intact and ready to sprout when it was time. And then they'd grow a whole new plant because that seed preserved the species. It wants to live. So it's not going to allow you to digest it and break it down when you eat it whole. So if you want to get the nutrients in these, grind them up and then put them in your smoothie. So here's the basics. Put 1 cup of almond milk in your blender. I have a $40, $50 Oster. It works really well. Seriously. It might not be a Vitamix, a Vitamix, but it works really well. So put 1 cup almond milk, coconut water, or just plain water. Then add your bananas, cut them in little chunks about like that. Put your bananas in, give that a whirl. Then throw your greens in while it's spinning. Now I push fruit smoothie to start my bananas, and then I'll go up to green smoothie and I'll throw my greens in the blender, one handful at a time so that they all get in there, and let them get masticated and emulsified. And that's what you want. You want it to emulsify. And that doesn't take very long, maybe a minute, depending on your blender. And once that's done, you add your chia seed or your flax seed, and then pour it into a quart jar. Hopefully you've got some stainless steel straws that are reusable, and you stick one of those in there, and voila, there is your breakfast. So try that. 1 meal a day, make it raw for about a week. Then the second week, up your game. Now you can do this 2 ways. You can either increase the volume of your smoothie, or you can have 2 meals that are raw and keep the same volume. And this is kind of what I did. I kept the same volume for a while because, you know, when you're eating cooked food, you don't need as much to feel full. But now one important thing, chew. Chew your smoothie, chew your soup, chew your liquids. I don't care what shape, form your food is in, chew, because digestion starts right here with all the saliva that you're secreting when those teeth are going together and grinding up the food. And since your food is already ground up because it's in a smoothie, you still need to chew it before you swallow it to get the juices mixed in so that your digestive system will continue to work perfectly. All right, so then when you have your smoothie, and then on week 2, you can have a raw lunch. Now you may want to have a salad with some citrus fruits or something like that, or you may want to make and I call it sunshine in a jar. This is another way you can get a lot of your nutrients, especially your vitamin C. I use 3 clementines or 3 mandarins or 2 navel oranges. Those are my favorite. And then I'll cut up a whole pineapple and I'll cut it in quarters, and I'll take 1/4 section after I've taken the hard center, the core out, and then I'll chop that up and I'll put that in my blender along with my oranges. Make sure there's no seeds in the oranges before you put them in there. That's safer for your blender if it's a cheaper one. And then take a cup of coconut water and pour that in, and then blend it up and let it get nice and emulsified. Oh, now that is a tasty drink. And it's, depending on the size of your oranges, you're getting close to 400 calories in that meal. You want to get your calories in. A lot of people don't succeed on a raw vegan diet because they're not getting enough calories. They think that it's all about salads and eating vegetables. But vegetables and greens do not have that many calories. You need the fruit to get your calories. And you need that fruit to get your potassium and your magnesium and your B vitamins and your protein, your carbs. Your fruit has everything in it that you need. It has the right amount of fat. It has the right amount of protein. It has the right amount of carbohydrates. It has the right amount of calories. It has the right amount of water. Okay? If you're eating a lot of watery fruit, if you're eating a lot of pears and oranges and pineapples and berries and mangoes and just oranges, peaches, stuff like that, you find that you won't need to drink as much water. So, beef up on those. And use those for a snack. And each week, so you're starting out first week with a raw breakfast. And then the second week, you're starting out with a raw breakfast plus a raw lunch. And then the third week, you're starting out with raw breakfast, raw lunch, raw snack. And within a month's time, you can get yourself up to raw 4 times a day. Okay? And then you can start increasing. Bites count. When you're a raw vegan, the bites count. The amount of food that you eat counts because it increases your caloric intake. And if you're active, you're going to eat more. If you're not active, you're going to eat less. Right now, I probably exercise 2 to 3 times a week. And most of my work is done sitting because I'm either crocheting or I'm sitting at the sewing machine or I'm sitting at my laptop. So my work consists of sitting down. And for me, just to maintain, my requirement for calories is like 1,500. If I get 14 to 1,500, I can steadily drop the pounds and get healthy. And I've done that. I've come a long way. I used to weigh close to 300 pounds and I'm now down to 185. So, and my skin's getting better and I have more energy. I feel better. I'm clear. When I was eating a SAD diet, the standard American diet, I would have brain fog a lot and I wouldn't have any energy. I would want to go to sleep after I ate, and then it got to where it was hurting to eat. And so when I started eating raw, and I started eating fruits that are so easy to digest, and leafy greens, the tender ones. You don't want to get the big leafy greens that are tough, because that's going to be hard. If you're coming off of a standard American diet, that's going to be so hard for you to digest because your body is adjusting. So my biggest piece of advice to you, if you're having digestive issues, is to start small. Start with the tender greens. Eat things like when you need to balance it too. We've got to have the salty with the sweet. So balance it out with your greens. Get your baby greens in. Get your zucchini, squashes, butternut squashes, tomatoes, celery, bell peppers. Things like that are just full of nutrients and water, and they give you that savory taste that you crave too. Avocados is a good healthy fat that you can add. And you've got to have a little bit of fat with your greens, and some lemons and limes also help when you want to get the iron and the nutrition out of the greens. That helps you to absorb. So when you're taking in vitamin C and pairing it with your leafy greens, you're boosting your nutrient uptake as well. Okay, I'm getting close to 20 minutes, so I'm going to wrap this up. Leave your comments in the comment section. And if you haven't already, like and subscribe to my channel. Click the notification icon to get notified of future videos. And I wish you every good thing on your journey. And have a fabulous, fruitful, vegetarian day.